This is Carl Boyd for Wave Your Grades, coming to you every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. right here on KUAW. This program features American students striving for excellence in honor of our troops and American veterans, encouraging American students. Please join us every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. right here on KUAW.
Now on the air in Kansas City, the Cheryl Underwood Show.
We are proud to be part of the KUAW family.
The Cheryl Underwood Show. Weekdays Monday through Friday at 12 noon. KUAW around the world on KUAW.org.
Todd Tribbett, we gonna be all right here on the Jamal Bakes Show. I'm your brother in Christ, Jamal Bakes. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me, fam, for another weekend, all right? We've got a big show for you, man. As always, the Rose Show Live will be here with her Faith Move next. And we talked to my man, the Laugh Therapist, later on in the show. We've got music on the way from Doe. We've got Corinne Hawthorne, Keandra Lockett, brand new William McDowell. Cannot wait to share that one with you as well, all right? And a whole lot more. Listen, follow me right now on social media.
Bank of Blue Valley is a proud sponsor of KUAW Radio. At Bank of Blue Valley, we believe that an understanding of financial values sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This week on Making Contact,
I think election fraud has always been a problem and a concern to various extents. And the main issue, whether you're talking about paper ballots or voting machines, is transparency. Transparency is really the number one thing. I think you have to really have the public involved from beginning to end.
We've got people that are really trying to cheat to win at all costs. Remember, we are talking about power. Power is never going to be given away by anybody. It has to be taken.
In this Women Rising radio program, we featured two election protection activists.
All right, you're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. We don't only bring you videos on Facebook and YouTube, but listen to our audio only, where you'll get shows like Cheryl Underwood and Blues Time in the City. You can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
It's the jumper. Welcome to the Cheryl Underwood Show.
That's what I'm talking about, Courtney Black. Where are we going, Kyle Irving?
George R. Smith College in Sedalia, Missouri. It was open from 18.
It's Courtney Black with the facts on Cheryl Underwood Radio, and you are in the entertainment segment with Courtney and Kyle. It's time for a social media shout out. Today I'm shouting out from Instagram my girl Donna Webster. What's up, Donna? We appreciate you, girl. If you want me to shout you out, follow us on Instagram at Cheryl Underwood Radio.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bakes Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAW, in, of, and about our community.
This is comedian Janelle Banks, and you are listening to KUAW, Kansas City.
This weekend is the last weekend before Thanksgiving, and on Blues Time in the City.
You say I be bashing men's.
Man bashing? That's Miss Jody. Man bashing. She's talking this weekend, and Tina Turner's birthday is on Thanksgiving Day, so we're showing Tina much love. Join me, Regina Bailey, for Blues Time in the City. Your weekend stop for the best in blues and southern soul. This weekend, right here.
KUAW listeners, This is Carl Boyd for Wave Your Grades, coming to you every Saturday from 1 until 2
We
p.m.
are live. This is your girl Serenity, and we're here with Speak On It, brought to you by Prose and Verbs. Of course, I like to start off with my little quotes. Y'all know me. It's from the Little Book of Confidence, and it says, "Success is most often achieved by those who don't know that failure is inevitable." And that's by the lady Coco Chanel. I know y'all know who Coco Chanel is. She's a fashionista, and she's a legend in the fashion world. And we are in the studio. I got a room full today. I have my friend of the show. Like I said, I don't have co-hosts, I have friends of the show. And we have Anthony, Mr. Boston Up Magazine, in the studio. How you doing?
Just ready to get in. We got a great show today. I got my man Willie with me. We got Will up
What's
there.
up, Willie?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Give a little introduction of who you are, Willie. So Willie's gonna be on the show every
Willie's
so
gonna be
often.
with
He's a friend of the show as well. So he's gonna be with us regularly. I'm glad to have you, Willie.
Hey, thank you. Hey, my name is Willie Garrett. The reason why I really wanted to be on this show is because I think I got a lot to give back.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's about giving something back to the people, man. You know, I took so much in my life. It's time to give back.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's
no
all.
doubt. No doubt.
That's what's up. And you got an extraordinary story too.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So you ready to give back and just transition and do your thing, right?
That's right.
Okay. And we have Miss Phoenix.
Yes.
In the building also.
Yes.
How are you? I'm good. Me and you being safe with our mask on. You know, like,
yes,
we social distance.
Yeah, social distance.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
mine is like fashionable, you know. So that's how I'm like, you know. So y'all, if y'all watch, you know, we being safe, you know, COVID and whatnot, because we know COVID ain't no game out here.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Miss Phoenix for wearing a mask. I appreciate that. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my real name is Rebecca Butler. I am from upstate New York.
That's what's up.
Shout out to Albany. I've been here. I relocated about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been here for a little bit over a year. Before that, I was in Arkansas. I couldn't even stomach that for a year.
Well, I can hear you got a little bit of accent while you was down there. I heard it a little bit when you said Arkansas. Yeah.
I think that's just how I say it. Just Arkansas was different. I wasn't even down there a whole year. I couldn't do it. So I traveled a little bit.
Where at in Arkansas?
West Memphis.
I got people there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, like my cousins. I've been down there a few times.
It was great for me to be able to get like some solitude. But I couldn't stay. I ended up coming here.
Yeah, they travel to Memphis a lot. Because West Memphis is kind of small.
Yeah, small.
It's
right across.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a small town living. So if you think KC small, West Memphis is really small. Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I was going crazy.
He's going crazy. I bet coming from New York. I bet.
Yeah, it was definitely different. It was a culture change too. Coming from New York and then
going down south and in the small town and down south. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely different.
Okay. So how did you end up meeting up with Mr. Boston up here? I always like stories of how people met.
I met Mr. Boston at Soul Session.
Yeah, we
okay,
did.
Okay.
I met him at Soul Session.
That's the night I seen you then. The same night. Okay.
No.
Was it a different night?
No,
okay.
It was a different night. I think you had just moved up here from New York. I mean, from New York or whatever. And she got up and performed, and it was raw. Like it was just, you know, it touched me, and I was like, I said, "You dope," you know, because we got, you know, the poets to me are great. I love the poets because they tell a story and they give you so much in a way that other people can't give it to you, you know. So I really got much love for the poets, and when I heard her, and then she has a real dope story, and I think that when we get into it, I would like for her to start at the beginning and talk about growing up and Albany from the beginning, and then we'll get to where she's at today. Because I think sometimes we need to understand that because your path might start off rocky, it don't have to end that way.
That's real.
You know, so tell them about the beginning of your journey.
Or do you want me to read your? He sent me a little bit of your bio. You want me to read it? I want to make sure you get your just due. Okay. Okay. From drug dealing and drug addiction, parent, police raid, homelessness, dealing with sickle cell, depression, into overcoming to be a poet, author, entrepreneur, nonprofit owner, and life, health, and wellness coach. So you definitely made a transition. Like, let's talk a little bit about well, first let's go into how you started getting into doing community work, because sounds like you basically took your own personal situations and started moving toward the community, helping the community.
Absolutely. I think that when you first grow up in the urban community, you're often told what you can't do and not what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
you automatically put at limits.
I think that's just African Americans, period, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But more so, even in the urban community, because resources are so limited,
Yeah.
you don't have the opportunity to be exposed to anything different.
Right.
So when you grow up, you really have to have a strong mental to say, I want to be more than my circumstances. So how do you do that? How do you become more than your circumstances? So I feel like everything that I've been through was the reason why.
Get a little closer to the mic so we make sure everybody.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
So everything that I have been through, I felt like, why not start a non-for-profit educating women about all of the knowledge that you've retained over the years, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of our biggest issues in the urban community is financial literacy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we don't have access to certain resources because we're not taught financial literacy at an early age.
That's so true.
So if we combat that main thing, that main issue, it would take over so many other issues.
I hate to jump off. I want to do a shout out. Everybody follow a page called Black Man Get Your Money, and that's part of the reason why I created this shirt and the and that, because I want to go more into, especially like with Black men, like men in general.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to be historic, men are considered to be the providers. And I think it's very important, especially Black men, to learn about financial literacy and how to make money and give money and provide for their community. But go ahead.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I just want to piggyback off of that. I was watching something, and they were pretty much saying how most other cultures, when it comes to men and sons, they are often, you have to be the provider.
Right.
Yeah, women are supposed to be the domesticated, the nurturers, and even if they do make money, they aren't financially literate.
Right.
So they don't understand why they're making so much money, yet they're still in like a sunken place or the rat wheel, so to say. So and I think that is great. Yes, men need to be financially literate, but to educate a man is to educate an individual. You educate a woman, you can elevate a nation. That's what is on my website, because we have to give the knowledge down to children.
Yeah.
This is how we gonna break generational curses. Is because the women are with the children. These things that, when it comes to financial literacy, aren't in school. These are, you're not gonna learn any of this stuff in school. So where are you gonna learn it?
That's true.
It has to be with the mother. The mother is the foundation, and
that's true. They don't teach you like they had a list of things they don't teach you in school, and part of it is credit, how to do your taxes, all that stuff. That stuff you learn from either going to like accounting school or going to, like, you don't learn that just getting a regular high school education.
Right. Like, how do you, if you want to start your own business, how do you establish business credit?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many fundamentals that you need to learn, that we all need to know, but if we want be able to teach it. And the women are with the children most of the time.
Yeah.
So when no man is going out being the provider, as he should, I second that. The woman still needs this knowledge to drop to her seeds because the children are the future.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I think that I'm 100%. This is what I want. I don't want to build all of this, build my empire, so to say, and then my children don't have any clue on
how to
money
continue
works,
it. Yeah.
right? You know, so everything that I built will get destroyed because
they're not.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that about financial literacy too, because like and it goes back to what you were saying, like the schools really don't teach you that. Like you go through once you can graduate, and a lot of them don't even know how to go set up a checking account. So we really true. And to be honest with you, like most of my business acumen came from when I was in the federal prison system, because you was in there around a lot of financial bankers, investment bankers, and stock guys, and they would have classes, and they would teach about the situation. And so when you see a lot of guys coming home from prison and you seeing them successful, it's because a lot of times the programs in there were more effective than the school system. And I'm not saying we don't want nobody to go to prison. I'm not saying that. We want to keep you up out of there. But Willie can vouch as well, because he can tell you how he came home and he started his business.
Right. But you know what? They had a class in Leavenworth when I was in Leavenworth. Yeah. And it was a real estate class. Nothing but black men were in it. One white dude was in there. It might have been 20, 30 black dudes. Yeah. They tried to shut it down because they don't want you to have that knowledge. Exactly. They don't want you to know.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, they do that. Yeah,
they don't want you to know.
You're right.
They want you.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
They like all them black people down there. They got to be coming up with some kind of scheme or something. They own something, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's what. Yeah,
they try to shut us down.
Wow.
Yeah, they do. That's crazy. But can you touch on like when you was in school, in high school, and the things that you was going through at the time you was in school? Can you touch on that?
Okay, so when growing up, first of all, school, I was a super duper nerd. Like I was the biggest nerd. But I had health issues. I was that kid that I knew I shouldn't go to school, but I'm gonna go anyway, right? Because I want to have the perfect attendance, and school was my escape. I knew deep down inside education was the key. So I was like, if I want to get out the hood, I gotta go to school. That was my thought process at the time. And I worked really, really hard. And in the meantime, I had, I went 1 year during my junior high year. My mother was diagnosed with cancer. And that was really, really hard to go through because, she was a single mom and I had a little brother, and that just was a lot. So once we get over that hurdle, I'm still going through my health issues. And we get over that hurdle, then my mom relapses after having 15 years clean. Then once we get over that, I think we get over that hurdle, the house gets raided. And, when you're a teenager, you think you think you grown. But it's different when you really are on your own in the streets. Like, where do I go? What do I do? So I'm 17 living with my boyfriend, and I look like I'm hot in my behind, but little do people know, like, I'm literally homeless. Like, if I don't live with him, where am I gonna go? Because I was living in Albany, but that's not where my mother was from. My mother was from 2 hours away, so all of our family was there. And when she got in recovery, that's how we got to Albany. So, when you're in recovery, you want to change people, places, and things. Right. That's what she did. So she excluded us from our entire family. So when things got rough, I didn't have anybody to go to. So in high school, I worked really, really hard, and I remember my senior year, I just was like mentally spent. Like, I can't take anymore mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I'm just drained.
Right.
And I was trying to, I think right before my senior year, I was trying to tell my mom to put me in night school. Like mentally, I can't do it. Just put me in night school and I'll finish.
Mm-hmm.
But I went into my senior year with a 3.0.
That's what's up.
By January of my senior year, they put me as a high school dropout. Yeah, I had missed that many days.
Oh no.
And I'm like, what? No, I didn't drop out. So February, I turned 18 and I signed myself up for night school. And I remember the principal was actually my economics teacher. I'll never forget, his name was Mr. Baker. And he had told me that initially he had said that I could not graduate my class. I couldn't walk the stage, that I needed the seat time. So that my grades were fine, but I didn't have the seat time. So I'm just thinking in my head, like, I've never even had summer school. In my senior year, you guys give me summer school? Nope, not gonna do it. Once I'll leave. I done did my time. I did my bit. I'm not coming back.
He said I did my time.
So he comes in one day, he's like, Butler, come here. I go to the office. He said, I'm looking at your file, and I just don't understand how you come to school every day with my limitation. He said, if you can promise me that you will make it to school from here to the rest of the school year, I'm going to let you work with your class. He said, because I know if I don't, you're not going to come back. And I started crying. I was like, yeah, because I worked too hard. Like, yeah, I messed up, but I don't understand. I worked really, really hard to get here. Man, when he said I could work the class, I was crying, he was crying, the whole mother was crying, all my friends was crying. We was all crying. Like,
yeah, that's deep.
Because it was like I literally worked so hard and I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But had I not had him be a little bit empathetic to my situation, then no, I would not have had my high school diploma because I wasn't going back.
You meant
like,
that.
I really meant, like, after everything that you've been through, like I've been through, my mom having cancer, I done been through, you know, my own.
And this
health
all
issues.
happened while you was in high school.
This is all happening back to back to back to back. Every year that
It
I
was
think that I
something.
get over something, it's something new. So by the time I think that I'm almost there to freedom to go away to college, you rip that from me and tell me that I don't have the seat time? Man, I'm trying to survive, like, in these harsh streets of upstate New York. I need you to give me a break.
Right.
And they did. And it was really hard, but I graduated.
That's what's up.
My class, 2007.
Yeah, that's
My
what's
dentist
up.
probably said that because I don't need that clock in my head.
But let's touch on that because, like, you know, a lot of kids down here too. We got a large homeless youth population down here in Kansas City.
Sure do.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when kids are going to school, they have so much they dealing with on the outside that when they come to school, a lot of them is not even, you know, the attention span ain't here because they just trying to survive. They in survival mode.
Yeah.
And we need to start recognizing that. What you think, Willie? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm saying, because I just, you know, Carlos Taylor, he had let us go up to Ruskin High School and perform because they was going to talk to kids and they did a performance. And it's like 3,000 homeless youths throughout the Kansas City area. It might be more than that. And that's when I got a firsthand look up close to it, and I was like, we got to do something, you know, like really, like, because this is our future. Like, what message are we gonna send to our future if we seeing that they hurt and we seeing that they need help, but nobody is helping?
That's true. They usually just talk about adults who are homeless. They don't talk about the effects of the kids with the adults.
Exactly.
Or even some kids, they just on their own and homeless.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah. So
definitely right about that.
It's tough, you know. And then like, I want you to speak on that too, like, as far as coming up and you feel like you're growing up with a sense of hopelessness, like you feel like the streets is like, how do you feel like you can overcome the streets?
You know, it was hard for me, man.
Yeah.
I mean, really hard. I mean, it was like the streets was like a magnet and just pulled
Yeah.
me in, you know. And for me to get up out of it, I think it really took me going to penitentiary for 25 years because I didn't see no hope. Everything that I touched, it seemed like it turned to crap. I mean, even I even had tried to get jobs. One time I had a job driving as a dishwasher, right? At the President Hotel when it was downtown, right? And they changed ownership, right? The next owner came to me and said, "Hey, you been to prison. You fired. I'm a dishwasher. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to stay out of jail." And they like, it's like they push you down.
And people don't understand that the felony. It
Yeah,
makes you a
somebody
third.
did you see that? Are you Facebook friends with Black? He's a producer. You know him.
Yeah, Black.
Yeah. He had
Shout
a
out to Black Beats.
Yeah, he had a stat about that a while ago, talking about how I guess he has a felony. He was saying how he had the felony from years ago, and he said it still affects him, and it's kind of like when is it get to the point where it's like, okay, this person's been back in the community, they time has passed, let it go. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like he still gets affected from trying to find housing, all that stuff. So it's like in once it's kind of one of those things, like once you make a mistake, it follows you.
Hey, don't have a drug conviction.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing you could do.
Drugs, violence.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah, because somebody just said, well, what type of felony is it? And I was asking this and that. But generally, like, he said, depending on the situation, if they run, what type of background check they run, it's old. It's real old. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? If it pop up, it becomes an issue, because especially if, like, they'll ask you about it. So then what?
Yeah, because I when I moved back to Kansas City, and I tried to put in an application out of jail, that's what stopped me from getting it. I had a felon, so that was, what I'm saying? So it does affect you, what I'm saying? But I was just touching on that, and I want to applaud you for being able to stand with that, going through that struggle like that, because we don't understand. Here it is. She wants to graduate. She wants to go to college, but look at everything that's on her plate. And for you to come through that, I just want you to know that it's much love,
And whoever that guy was that cried with you, he cared.
He
cared, and that's what it take. It take people that care.
It do.
He did. I remember when I was in his economics class, I came in late, right? So he said something Butler. I was like, Baker. I'm just trying to make it.
Right.
Baby, lucky I'm here. I know I'm late, but I made it.
Right.
And he was like, nah, I know, right? Like, he knew that I was trying.
Yeah.
Right.
And I felt like that's what we need as kids. We need someone to be there.
Understanding,
we need to
and
feel, especially if we're not getting at home.
Right.
It's a dub at home.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where are we going to go where we're still going to stay motivated, where we get a little bit of understanding? Sidetrack off of that. During that time, I also had a mentor from the Big Brothers Big Sisters program.
Okay.
That woman had been on my life since I was 9. So, she introduced me to a whole nother different world that was completely out of my norm. Had I not been exposed to her, would I have made the decisions that I have made? You know what I'm saying? She helped me with my college applications. You know, like all of my, when I was homeless, all and running all over the place. All of my
Has she been to
her house.
Has she been to college herself?
Yes.
Okay.
She was this Italian suburban white woman.
Oh, okay.
So I have a poem about her. I have a poem called "Who Is Betsy," and I wrote it because I used to always say, if there ever was a revolution, she would be the person that I saved.
She'd be the person you saved?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right? So like her family.
Like she cool?
Right.
Don't mess with her. All the other white people you
Right? Sister's invited to the cookout. All right? She may not be able to bring no food, but she's still invited. Her piece is cool.
My best friend is half Italian. She try to hold on to that. I'm half Italian. I'm like, you still kind of white. Like, that's white. Love you. You still my homie though.
Like, when I'm really grateful for her. I really am. This is why, as much as I'm pro-black,
Get close to the mic, boo. So
as much as I'm pro-black, I'm not anti-white. And I feel like that's a big.
But why do people feel like being pro-black means you're anti-white? We need to have that's a whole nother show. That's a whole show.
Absolutely. Just because you're pro-black does not mean that you're anti-white. I don't believe in the divide and conquer method. And I know I've personally been impacted in a positive way by someone that is not of melanin descent.
Right.
So that right there, she wins. That's the argument.
That's good. That's good. You had somebody help you with that, because I know I'm a first generation college graduate in part of my family. So, but yeah. But so it was like I knew I wanted to go to college, but it was kind of like I didn't have nobody around me who knew what to do to get there. Right. So it was kind of like, and then at my school, I was one of the few black people there. So it was kind of like, I felt like I didn't really have any assistance. I literally was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out on my own. So to have somebody come in and be like, they're going to help you with that. Because, them applications are fast for all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, it was so
trying to
bad.
sit with my mom. We trying to figure it out,
It was so bad because as she's trying to help me with these applications, we need my mother's information.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You understand? Like, she's not my guardian.
Right.
She's literally just trying to assist me with these applications and giving a roundabout. We had to search my mom down for information, like her income. I needed proof of her income.
Yeah.
And because she made so little money, they thought that I was trying to fraud them. Like there's no way that she can be surviving. I kid you, no lie. And it's like, no.
I mean, I'm not surprised because
she
paperwork.
Really takes care of 3 kids off of
all that paperwork and stuff. It once you get into it, it shows you how there's a divide as far as most people who go to college generally. There's a wealth divide there.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, because when you get to like you said, I mean, my mom, we weren't poor, but at the same time we wasn't rich either.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like when you get filling out that stuff and they ask you this and that. And then they're like, whoa, your mom is supposed to contribute this amount. Mom was like, I ain't got that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the expectation of what they have. And then when you get in there, and it's kind of like, honestly, I was pretty much on my own. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't they expect you, well, what? Ask your parents. I'm like,
True story. Kid, no lie. Story time.
Okay.
When I was supposed to go to college, I had to go there a week early because I was EOP. Betsy had brought me there already. She had showed me the campus, got me to my EOP meeting. When it was time for me to pack up all my stuff and head there, my mom gets upset with me for allowing Betsy to drive me. She has a whole fit. You're my daughter. And she's taking this away from me. So
your mom wants to be there.
I canceled with Betsy and I'm gonna let my mom drop me off, right? She says, no problem. And she gives me $200 cash. Right? We go to school. Cannot make this up. We get lost.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a 2-hour drive. Yeah, it took us 6 hours to get there. I'm this close to meeting to missing my EOP meeting. Right?
Dang.
At the end of it, after they get my stuff in, my mom gets my stuff in, my sister unpacks my stuff. My mom takes my money and leaves me with $40 and says, this is our gas money to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's I'm already a starving college student, and I went and had this problem that I just let Betsy bring me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When I got to college, it was literally I'm not homeless no more. I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder. I am 100%. I felt like I had a sense of security.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't mentally ready. I literally was going from just escaping and going to college for all the wrong reason. I wouldn't suggest, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't suggest any 18-year-old rushing to go to college. Because it is a lot on your mental and emotion, and we never know what we're doing a year from now. How many people change their major
That's real.
their first year?
That's real.
You really don't know what you're doing. You figuring out, then you take a class and you're like, oh no, I want to do this. I'm gonna change my major. Most people change their major at least 3 times. So
I didn't change mine, but it was like after I got done, like maybe I should have did a little bit more classes in this or that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but you didn't change, which is great. Like, but I know everybody who went to school with changed their major at least twice.
Or I know a lot of people, they went for a certain degree and then they end up doing something totally different.
Completely different, right? Just give yourself a little bit of time to develop, to see. Get some experience in that field, because a lot of times once you get that degree, you don't have any experience.
That's right.
And then it's so hard to get a job.
Oh, well, we're going to take a break because we definitely going to talk about that. Well, I'm going to play a little music. I like to play some music by local artists. KC Young Boss, if you guys are familiar with him. I love him.
Boss is dope.
I guess he's working on a new album too.
Yeah,
so shout out to KC Young Boss. I'm going to play one of his songs, Always on My Mind. And of course, you're listening to Speak On It on KUAW. Make sure you go check him out. And we are back, and you were listening to KC Young Boss. I like to give people a little, like, also on the video, I know y'all can't hear the song, but that is encouragement for y'all to look up KC Young Boss.
Yes.
You have a little break too. You need to go to the bathroom or whatever.
KC Young Boss
But
is one of the artists in
KC
the
Young
city.
Boss is a dope artist here in Kansas City. He got little samples in there too. He doing his thing. Like one of the best. Well, did he win list this year for best hip hop artist? Did he win again? No, Mira Wang won this time. I always think
he won the year before.
He won the first year. Yeah. So he's considered one of the best artists, hip hop artists in Kansas City. So make sure you check him out. We were talking over the break. You want to pick up on what you were saying, Anthony?
One of the things like I want to get your opinion on, not necessarily me, because like with me, my mother was very encouraging, and it was my choice to go to the streets.
Oh, okay.
My brother, my sister, they both got their masters. They doing good. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to say is like, how do we stop like I don't know if it's conscious or unconsciously that the older people will kill the young people's dreams. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, how do we start looking at it? Because a lot of times the youngsters, their confidence is shot at a young age
before they even get to the point.
You see what I'm saying? Like, they might have a talent or a skill or whatever, but ain't no money in that. You can't do that.
I think that's the difference between I think it's a generational thing. Like our generation on a different way. I think so. Go ahead.
Let me say, I'm a mom, right?
Okay.
And my son is about to be 12. He's still in New York, so he's a YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
That's his thing. He want to be a YouTuber, right? So for his Christmas present, I'm gonna add merchandise to his channel.
Oh, okay.
Right? But I didn't have that. I remember when I was homeless and I was stressed out, I was just writing.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother told me, you need to write. You need to write a list of everything that you need to do, and don't write another poem.
Oh.
Right? So I'm like, what? If I don't write a poem, I'm gonna be underneath somebody's jail. All right, let me write my poetry.
Yeah, people don't understand. It's. I done wrote some poems that are cussing some folks out, so I know.
So I was like, why would you advise me to do something that you know is healing for me?
Right.
So instead of me listening to her, I wrote another poem, and I wrote several more poems, and then I self-published my first book while I was homeless in that shelter, just to be spiteful. Like, you're not gonna keep projecting your fears onto me. That's what we have to teach our children. Don't allow other people's fears to be projected onto you. You literally can
That's ultimately what it is.
Whatever you want to do.
That's ultimately what it is. And then on top of you got to think about. I was talking to my mom one time about just back in the day, women, they couldn't do a lot of things unless they had a husband. And she was saying, I remember she told me a story about how she wanted to be, and I know my mom's probably like, don't be telling all my business. But anyway, but she was telling me a story. She wanted to be an airline stewardess. But she already had kids. Back then, if you wanted to be an airline stewardess as a woman, you couldn't have children. So it's pretty much like she didn't get to do what she really wanted to do in life because, basically she had to sacrifice for her family. And it's kind of like, I think that's why I said I think it's generational. But you also got to think back then, Black people were limited on what they could do. So it's still that mentality of it feeling like, well, I didn't get to do it, or we wouldn't.
No. Let me just interject, because we could say that they was limited, but then we have Madam C.J. Walker.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be someone that says that broke barriers, that started, that just is going to be more than their circumstances.
That's
really anybody that makes it out of the hood is determined to be more than their circumstances. Anybody that doesn't allow racism to dictate their worth is allowing themselves to be more than their circumstances. We can't help being Black. But you're not about to tell me that I'm not gonna make it.
But let's not lie and say it's not gonna make it harder to do it.
No, that's true. Yeah. It's true, right? It is gonna be harder, but who cares? Because no funny, we all have a story. All of our stories is hard.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah, because I was watching. I don't remember what I was watching, but My president, Barack Obama, that's still my president. He was talking about, I guess somebody was asking him about that, like, what is your words of encouragement to, the youth or black youth, as far as like, making it to excellence. And he was saying, I know that it's gonna be harder for you, but think about how you are someone who will be able to overcome struggles that most people wouldn't be able to. So use that to your advantage. And I was just like, he right.
You know what? My spiritual advisor, shout out to her, shout out to Lori's Women's Group. I love them. I love my sisters. Sorry, circle. She had asked me one time. She had asked the group, "What has racism stopped you from doing?" Right? So he was sitting there stuck, like, huh? Yeah, it makes it harder, but it don't stop us from doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What really has racism stopped us? It's a psychological construct that they like to put on you to limit you.
Right. It's
messing
with your mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To be able to, I feel like racism is like a unhealthy PV situation. You know what I'm saying? We either make excuses to get out, to stay in a relationship, the unhealthy abuse, or we put our foot down and we find any way to get out so that we can survive.
Right.
Yeah. That's what it's like being black. Mm-hmm. It's either you're gonna survive, you're gonna adapt, but that's the first law of nature. It's survival of the fittest. You learn to adapt to all of your surroundings. We've done adapted from slavery, from segregation, from till now. We black women, we not the 2020s.
Y'all are.
Sure is.
Y'all are
the most
y'all
educated. We are the entrepreneurs.
Still, and still in some cases the most underpaid.
Period.
Even though we're most educated, but yeah.
And we do it flawlessly. We don't complain. We don't compare ourselves to. We don't keep complaining about the struggle. We just find a way and we keep doing it.
Okay, but let me ask you a question because that's a good point. You just made like the black woman. She's like number one in going to college, workforce, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But how is it that y'all able to thrive and the black man he's really like we almost extinct? It's so why are y'all able to thrive and we still able to
but it's the mentality of the black man.
I was about to say some of that is and it was a white guy that talked to me about this one time about how to break down a race. You break down a race by breaking down the man, the woman, and you rise the woman up. And then think about it. A black woman has she's easier to navigate in corporate America than a black man. Even when Barack Obama was president, anytime he would get, I guess you say, passionate about stuff, they'd be like, he's getting angry. Like, how do you think people respond to you as a black man when you get angry? What do they do? they think, oh my God, he's gonna kill me or something. Like that's those stereotypes. Yeah. And so it's just basically that a black woman's better. She's easier to navigate in the system. That's all. But that's how I feel.
Let me say this real quick. And y'all tell me. I want to say this real quick. I think in parenting, I think the mother or the father, well, the mother for real, is she's more harder on the girl and more passive towards the boy. And so the boy, he's not a woman. She can leave the house at 18, and even though she hasn't figured out, but she can go out and she'll be able to thrive more. And whereas the black male, he leaves the house, his mind is not fully maturely developed to handle those situations. But it's like, even though but it seems like we have been separated from the black woman as well. You see what I'm saying? Like,
But that kind of goes into what I was saying. Like, how you break down a race? You start with the man. Like,
right. Just to piggyback off of both. Y'all get what I'm saying?
Go ahead. Yeah, piggyback. Yeah.
I feel like you have to remember how they broke down the family household. We've had
the family structure.
We've had a leg up, right?
Yeah.
Even though we've had a
even welfare, what do they do? So you can't have a man in the house. Yeah.
Right? So when we kick the black man out and we like, oh, all right, you gotta go because I need my social services, right?
Right.
And we started getting educated, right?
And
we started making more money.
I know where you're going with this.
Still never changed, right?
Yeah.
So now we birthing these children.
Are you going with the whole "I don't need a man" mentality some people have?
Too,
yeah.
Right? That I don't need a man.
Are y'all big on that?
Right? I'm not like that, but I mean,
the independent I don't need a man mentality. You know what that did? That made it crutch for her son, because now the black woman makes her son her emotional husband. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because they coddle, the black woman coddles their son, and then it's like, sis, by 16, you better know. I know when in my household, I've been on my own since I was 15. So the average dude really mentally couldn't mess with me. Financially, it's just like,
yeah. So you probably dated older men because dudes your age is like, I've been on my own. I'm just, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, right? So when you have these young 21-year-old, 22-year-old young men, you're not going to be able to compare them to the females because the majority of their life, they've been coddled to be their emotional husband, their mother's emotional husband.
We could have a whole show about that.
And we could have a whole show about how black woman, the black mom, for some reason, their mentality is for their children to struggle. I don't understand.
I know. I don't like that.
What the issue is, but it's like they want to teach them the way to struggle is the way to make it. It's like we addicted to this forced sense of struggle, which sucks. I know a lot of women that literally watch their daughter struggle with their kids.
You know, going to what you were saying, when I was coming up, my sister was kind of like my mama too, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Wanda.
Yeah, shout out to my sister
Wanda.
Wanda.
I love Wanda. I love her.
Hey,
she's a beast.
And she would tell us, cause she, you know, all the boys in my family, she'd tell us, "Hey, you gotta get off my titty. Nah.
Yeah.
You gotta stand on your own. Be you. You know." So yeah, I agree with that.
I would love to keep going with this conversation, but I think we should set up for another show.
Okay, we show.
But we want to hear some poetry.
Yeah, let's get some poetry.
Phoenix, so,
we're
gonna. Anybody wanna? In fact, let's wrap up. Everybody give their information. They can find you online and how to find you, and then we're gonna let her do our poem, and we out.
Okay. I could go last.
Okay, yeah. You can find me on Facebook, Anthony Hodges, Bossing Up Magazine, and you can find me on Instagram at Bossing Up Magazine, and just get at me because we about to work. Yeah, we working.
You can find me. My name is Willie Garrett. You can find me. I got a transportation business called WLG Transportation, and I got a Willie G's maintenance company. You can find me on Facebook. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah,
of course, I'm Serenity. You can find me on Instagram under Serenity and then 2 underscores and the word speak. You can find me on Twitter on that as well, and that's SERENITY and then 2 underscores and the word speak. And of course, check out our business page, Prose and Verbs. It's PROSE and Verbs spelled out. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, you guys can find me, MissPhoenixPoetry.com, Miss Phoenix Poetry, Instagram, Facebook, Lamecca Butler, and my not-for-profit organization is Phoenix Women Transformation House.org, Facebook, Instagram, the same thing. I'll link all of my links for my books and everything when I drop this live. I'm gonna do Melanin Prize. If you have the book, you already know. I can't pretend I used to value my melanin from within. Once upon a time, I used to not love my brown skin. You could tell the way I baptized myself in sin. I don't know when and where it would begin. On the inside, I would cry. And on the outside, instead of showing a grimace, I would pretend to grin. I had no knowledge of self-worth. I felt like my beauty and sexuality was a gift and a curse. I used to be the woman that screwed them, put my pennies back in my purse. I pointed the finger, but deep down inside, I knew who's to blame for my own hurt. I felt like my body belonged in the hearse. I never forget that time. My body lay limp in bed. I never felt more disgusting the first time I gave. He didn't understand why I would cry. He told me he loved me and said it back through, and I said it back through tears as I replied. But you're being immature, he said. I laid there naked with him in bed and told him that he could never understand because the scars on my soul he never read. From then on, every man after that I will pretend to be in love with, we would say I love you and even break bread. I had a good heart, but my soul was dead. The little piece of soul I had left, I would feed to others, but in return would never be fed. And now I'm fed up. Enough is enough. I've been through it all and I'm still standing, so I know I'm tough. So I decided to wait till any dude brave enough, please try and call my bluff. It won't be long before he comes along, and even though the way I may hate, I'ma stay strong. Find the melanin and the Douglas. I promise y'all, I got a purpose. I am the great women before me. I'm the wife of the greatest man to ever have a dream. I am the strong Shahada Razad Ali. For I am her, and me is she. I am every brown girl growing up in the urban community. And I'm speaking for y'all because y'all gotta start running back to y'all greatness like our ancestor Tubman. We are everything. Don't let them tell us that we're nothing. For I am Sandra Bland. I raise my hand. Can I get an amen? Knowing my greatness allows me to eliminate myself away from sin. So I've decided to wait for a man that spreads his word like Garvey, spreads unity like Gaddafi, doesn't believe in the hype of Adam and Eve, and knows that he was made just for me. He will remind me of Christ, resurrecting from the dead. He will have no problems leading, because he knows for a while I will need to be led. He will remind me of X, doing things beyond a protest. He will kiss my heart through my chest, and he will speak to my soul instead of my flesh. And I'll be waiting for him, because I already know he has spoken me into existence. He has done his wrongs and paid with his repentance. He already knows that speaking to my soul is an investment. We won't be concerned with each other's past, only our present. And I will wait until I see my reflection in his eyes without any compromise, finally feeling a sense of pride. We'll be each other's oceans. We'll be each other's tides. He will know that he is my light, and I am his prize. Melanin prize.
And we are out. Of course, as always, I'm Serenity reminding you to spit your piece.